Imagine stepping outside just as twilight begins to fall. As the sun dips below the horizon, a colossal, shimmering arch of light starts to glow, stretching from one end of the sky to the other. It's not a rainbow, and it's definitely not the aurora. These are the rings of Earth. If you were in Cairo, looking up, you'd see a magnificent, glowing arch framing the night sky, a celestial bridge connecting east to west. But if you were at the equator, say in Ecuador, the view would be completely different. The rings would appear as a razor-thin, brilliant line of light, slicing the sky perfectly in half. From the poles, they'd just be a faint glow on the horizon. The look of our sky would depend entirely on where you stood on the planet. It would be a breathtaking, ever-present spectacle, inspiring artists and poets for generations. But while they might be the most beautiful thing humanity has ever seen, they would also be our greatest nightmare. So, how would Earth even get rings? Well, there are two terrifying ways to give a planet a cosmic makeover. It all starts with something called the Roche limit. Think of it as a planet's personal danger zone. For Earth, this invisible boundary is about 18,000 kilometers from the surface. Anything big that crosses this line, like a moon or a giant asteroid, is in serious trouble. Let's explore scenario A. A rogue moon, maybe a captured asteroid from long ago, gets its orbit disturbed and drifts too close to us. As it crosses the Roche limit, Earth's gravity pulls on the side of the moon facing us much harder than it pulls on the far side. This difference in gravitational force is called a tidal force, and it would be catastrophic. The moon would start to stretch, deform, and then it would be shredded into billions, even trillions, of pieces of ice and rock. These fragments wouldn't fall to Earth. Instead, they would spread out into a wide, flat disk, forming our brand new, beautiful, and deadly rings. Now for scenario B, which is even more dramatic, a massive collision. This is similar to the theory of how our own moon was formed, sometimes called the Big Splash. Imagine a planet-sized object, maybe as big as Mars, slamming into a young Earth. The impact would be biblical, vaporizing a huge chunk of both bodies and blasting molten rock and debris into orbit. Over time, this superheated material would cool and coalesce into a spectacular ring system. Either way, the creation of these rings would be an event of unimaginable violence. And their existence would change life on Earth forever. The rings wouldn't just be a stunning sight at night. They would cast a massive shadow over the Earth. This ring shadow would drift across the globe as our planet rotates, plunging entire continents into a prolonged, eerie twilight. Think about the impact on our seasons. If this shadow fell over Europe or North America during winter, it would be devastating. The lack of direct sunlight would cause temperatures to plummet even further, making winters much colder, darker, and longer. We'd see increased snowfall, frozen rivers lasting longer into the spring, and a huge strain on our energy grids as everyone tries to stay warm. The idyllic image of a white Christmas would be replaced by a grim struggle for survival in a world of perpetual dusk, and it gets worse. This leads to a photosynthesis crisis. Plants, the very foundation of our food chain, need sunlight to survive. What happens when vast agricultural regions, like the American Midwest or the plains of Ukraine, are stuck under the ring shadow for weeks at a time? Crops would fail on a global scale. Forests would wither. Plankton in the oceans, which produce a huge amount of our oxygen, would die off. This isn't just about a dimmer sky, it's about a potential collapse of the entire ecosystem. It would turn our world into a real-life survival thriller, where humanity has to figure out how to grow food in near constant shadow. If you think that beautiful, shimmering arch in the sky is still worth it, think again. The rings would effectively trap us on this planet. Our modern world runs on satellites. GPS, global internet, instant communication, accurate weather forecasting, all of it depends on a clear path to space. The rings would change that. They wouldn't be a serene, solid structure. They'd be a chaotic, high-speed swarm of trillions of rocks and ice particles, ranging in size from tiny dust grains to mountain-sized boulders, all orbiting Earth at over 17,000 miles per hour. This creates a scenario known as the Kessler syndrome, but on a permanent, terrifying scale. Any satellite we launch would eventually be sandblasted into oblivion by ring particles. A collision with even a pebble-sized piece of debris at these speeds is enough to destroy a multi-million-dollar satellite. One collision creates more debris, which then causes more collisions, creating a cascading chain reaction that would wipe out our entire satellite network in a matter of years, if not months. We'd be thrown back into a technological dark age. No more Google Maps to guide you, no more international live broadcasts, and no more advance warnings for hurricanes and tsunamis. The rings would become an iron cage around our planet. Our dreams of exploring the cosmos, of setting foot on Mars or building bases on the Moon, would be over. Launching a rocket through a dense ring system would be like trying to drive a car through a hail of bullets. The odds of making it through unscathed would be practically zero. We would become prisoners on our own world, able to look up at the stars but never reach them again. But what if the rings had been there since the dawn of humanity? How would our history and culture have been different? Ancient sailors wouldn't have navigated by the North Star. Instead, they would have used the rings. The Great Arch, or the Silver Bridge in the sky, would be the ultimate celestial landmark. Its position and angle would tell you your latitude far more accurately than any single star. Civilizations would rise and fall based on their understanding of the ring's geometry. Our myths and religions would be completely transformed. Instead of sun gods and moon goddesses, ancient cultures might have worshipped the sky serpent or the celestial river. The rings would be seen as the bridge to the afterlife, the home of the gods, or a divine shield protecting Earth. The stories we tell ourselves about the cosmos and our place in it would be fundamentally different. And what about the animal kingdom? We know that many animals, especially birds, navigate using starlight and the Earth's magnetic field during their long migrations. How would they react to a giant, permanent glowing arch in the sky that drowns out the stars? Would they be confused? Would ancient migration routes passed down for millennia suddenly become useless? It's possible we'd see mass confusion among migratory species, a disruption of the natural world on a scale we can't even fathom. So, what's the final verdict? Earth with rings would be a world of haunting, paradoxical beauty, and extreme, daily survival. The sky would be an artist's dream, but the ground would be a farmer's nightmare. It would be a constant, awe-inspiring reminder that we live in a violent, dynamic, and ever-changing universe. It would make our world feel both grander and more claustrophobic at the same time. Would you trade our familiar, clear blue sky for a shimmering, ringed one? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this cosmic journey, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the biggest what-ifs of the universe. Thanks for watching.